All right. Thank you everyone for joining Luxent's webinar, Ready, Set, NetSuite, a demonstration of NetSuite ERP. In today's webinar, we will give you a quick introduction to Luxent and NetSuite, followed by a demonstration of the powerful features that NetSuite has, and then we will close out with an overview of NetSuite pricing and packaging. And if you have any questions as we move through the demonstration, please put your questions in the Q&A panel and we will get to answering them either at the end of the webinar or if we are able to, we will do our best to answer your questions live as you ask them. With that, I would like to introduce you to our Luxent team. Today we have Vivian Kina on the call, Luxent's president and CEO. Vivian has been in the ERP space for 20 plus years and knows all the ins and outs of NetSuite. Next up, we have Ben Katerberg, the director of our NetSuite practice and chief solution architect. Ben comes to you with 10 plus years of ERP experience and a wealth of industry best practices. And finally, myself, Brooke Geipus, a sales executive here at Luxent with experience in the food and beverage and medical device space. All right, everyone, let's get started. I'm going to pass it over to Vivian.
Great, thanks, Brooke. Hi, I'd like to just give you a quick overview of Luxent. We've been around since 2009, so celebrating our 15th year. We're what they call a premier solution partner, which really means we are able to help people with the selection of NetSuite, the implementation, the ongoing support and development, and just work with you through your whole life cycle of using NetSuite. Most of our consultants have an average experience level of 10 plus years, not only on the product, but in industry. We really help on the front end of ERP selection and trying to help you find the right solution, align those modules, ensure you're only getting what you need when you get it, and you're growing with NetSuite. We also have another extra certification that makes us able to develop on the platform. And we are focused primarily in the mid-market. We have clients at all sizes, from startup to very, very large tier 1 customers, but our primary focus is on the startup and mid-market area. And since the beginning, we've had a Salesforce practice. A lot of our customers use the CRM within NetSuite, but for those that don't, often go to the Salesforce platform. And with that, I'm going to introduce Ben Katerberg, who will give you a nice overview of NetSuite.
Thanks, Vivian. So NetSuite by the numbers here, I just want to really highlight some key numbers around kind of the growing popularity of NetSuite as an ERP. And one of the big trends in the tech space as of late really has been cloud computing. NetSuite was the first cloud company back in 1998. They started as a net ledger kind of financial system directly in the cloud. So you may hear a lot of other ERPs have had to change some of the underlying mechanics of their platform to operate successfully in the cloud. NetSuite's been there since the very beginning. So NetSuite has over 37,000 customers around the world. And just to demonstrate the growth trajectory of those 37,000, over 6,000 new customers just in the last 12 months. And they are in almost every country. We've got 217 countries around the world. And every single year, they just keep growing with record growth. And the next slide, I think, is going to help demonstrate why NetSuite can grow as quickly as it does. It offers verticalized solutions. So obviously today we're here talking about the food and beverage space, which is kind of a subset of the manufacturing or the distribution side. But one of the key areas of NetSuite that allows for incredible growth trajectory is its flexibility. Maybe initially I start out manufacturing my own product, or maybe I'm purely a distributor. I can actually come and go between some of these different verticals all on the same platform. NetSuite is very modular, so I can continue to add new features and functionality in NetSuite and continue to grow on the platform so that I really can support more of a multi-channel solution. So specifically here at Luxent, we do specialize in food and beverage. And this is just a logo slide of a handful of our customers. Not every single customer we've implemented, but we certainly do work long-term with all of our customers to ensure that they've got long-term success and are realizing ROI out of their NetSuite solution. So some of the big benefits businesses may gain when they move over to NetSuite is, first and foremost, they get an incredible amount of visibility and control within their supply chain and their financials. This visibility and control really does allow companies to be more agile, and they can make decisions much more quickly because they have readily available information, real-time insights directly from the platform. The platform also does have quite a few collaboration tools, which just in a moment, I will show you some of those collaboration tools that get people out of the email and the Outlook and directly coordinating with one another directly in the platform. And overall, that's going to increase your productivity as an organization. So as I mentioned earlier, NetSuite was designed purely as a financial system when it first came out. So these are just demonstrating high-level kind of financial features that are core to NetSuite. So most of your general finance and accounting, that's all going to come with the base product, all of your AR, AP, general ledger information, your payments, cash management, but a lot of other financial features you can keep adding on. So for instance, if you decide you want to start expanding to Canada or the UK, you can start adding multiple subsidiaries and adding additional currencies. And then you can do more global consolidation. If you are becoming more financially savvy with your planning, you can start adding in some FP&A tools. So NetSuite does have a planning and budgeting tool that you can continue to add on. Or you may have advanced revenue type of requirements or even subscriptions. It's becoming more and more common now where food and beverage companies will start out subscriptions and you get your package every single month that's sent out. So we do have some subscription billing capabilities as well. All right, so from here, I'm just gonna take control of the screen. I'll walk you into a live demo account I've got set up here for our food and beverage space. I'm gonna just kind of walk through several different roles that already come pre-configured as soon as you buy NetSuite. And this should give you a good sampling for what to expect when you jump into the NetSuite platform on your own. So the first perspective I'm going to go through here is from the financial controller perspective. The very first thing I want to point out here, however, is NetSuite is in the cloud. As I mentioned previously, this is just a normal web browser. So whether I have Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Microsoft Edge, any web browser will function with NetSuite. I'll just go open up a browser, type in netsuite.com, and then just enter my login information. So anywhere I have access to the internet, I can access NetSuite directly. So here is my web browser here at the top. You'll notice that I do have some menu pads over the top of my screen that I'm just hovering over. What you're seeing in front of you is what's called a dashboard in NetSuite. So even though I have a lot of menu pads that I could go through, I want my dashboard to be very concise and directed towards my specific user functions. So on the left-hand side, this is a lot of my workflow. So we talk about collaboration tools within the NetSuite platform, getting people away from email. These reminders help serve as those collaboration tools. So for instance, I have under my controller, here's 172 bills to pay. So I can open up some of these reminders. And once again, it's all browser functionality. So I can open up multiple tabs, work on multiple things at a time. Here's a list of overdue invoices. Here are purchase orders to bill or approvals. I don't have to send an email anymore to say, hey, CEO, could you please approve this for me? It's already here and I just need to click a link and then approve the bill directly from the links. So this allows you to really work within the platform and rely on the technology to inform your users what they should be doing. So once again, here's some bill payments. It's showing me all of the transactions that I need to actually generate bills for. Here's just a quick data query of all open invoices. Close out some of these here. There are these dashboard tiles. These are just little shortcuts to be able to access my reports. Because as the financial controller, I probably have very specific reporting requirements. And so I want to define my specific report. So these ones are the out-of-the-box reports. So here is a balance sheet report, for instance. Just one click on my balance sheet. And here it is for my current period. Obviously, I could show any other kind of dynamic period here, whether I'm looking at a period, a quarter, a year. Those are all dynamic. I have the subsidiary context. So maybe I want to see my balance sheet as an organization for all subsidiaries, and then maybe do a quick little pivot by subsidiary. So here's my balance sheet looking at headquarters by subsidiary. And then maybe I want to do another pivot and say, what does my balance sheet look like by location in my US 1 subsidiary? Now you can see the breakout of inventory positions, for instance. So I have $4,900 of inventory in San Francisco and $1,500 of inventory in my storefront location. And once again, this is all real-time data. So as soon as I do another receipt in NetSuite, this number is going to update in my report for me. And if I want to drill into any of these underlying values, I can just simply click onto my $4,900 inventory value for my San Francisco location and see what the makeup is of that $4,900. So therefore, just from that financial auditability standpoint, I can start with my financial reports and then drill all the way down to individual transactions when something looks off to me, or if I need some transaction to inform my financial flow. And so I can go all the way down to an individual receipt here, for instance. So maybe my number looked a little small and I start looking at some of the receipts and maybe I forgot to add landed costs, for instance, if I'm controlling my landed cost values and adding additional freight and duties to my item receipts. So once again, I got to my specific item receipt directly from a financial report. And then I have the full document linking. The item receipt is from this purchase order. So I can go to the original purchase order and I can do all of the analysis just clicking links. One link leads me to the next link so that I have my full picture that explains my financial and inventory positions. Here's another report, my profit and loss report. Once again, I may create a strategy where I want to view my profit and loss by product classifications. So I'll just do a little pivot. My income statement by product class. And here I can see the value of my frozen foods revenue for this period. I can view my cost of goods, my expenses, if I have any of those tagged, and I can see really my full net income by product class here. The other cool built-in tool with my financial reports or any reports in NetSuite is the ability to export them. I can just click the button at the bottom here to export to Excel or export a PDF, CSV, Word. I can print it, I can email it, or I can even set this up to run on a schedule. And I can have this running more than once. Clearly here, the system is telling me don't run it at 11 a.m. That's peak hours. So maybe I run it at 4 in the morning and I want to send this weekly on Thursdays at 4 in the morning and to this recipient and copy several others. So I can put other email addresses in here as well. And that way, if somebody does not necessarily have NetSuite, I can still have reports generated and sent to them via email if I want to take advantage of that. Also built into some of these dashboards are KPIs that are going to be role specific. So as the financial controller, I've got some expense, payables, receivable KPIs. Here's what my sales were for the current period versus the previous. Here is my cost of goods, and I have kind of these trend graphs to show what my changes are over time. High level kind of financial overview, cash projections as well to make sure that I've got enough cash flow to manage my operations here, and really just endless reports and flexibility here at my fingertips. And then just here's another one, my budget versus actual. So you can generate budgets in NetSuite and then track your progress against those budgets and see, am I over or under on my budgets? So for my US 1 subsidiary here, let's do our whole year. Right, so as I change my period data, my dynamic data, some of these values are obviously going to change over time. All right, now I'm going to pivot a little bit. I'm going to move to another role here. That is going to be my supply chain manager role. And within my supply chain manager's features that I want to track as far as collaboration tools, here's some planning alerts. I've got some late work orders out here. Or here from that food and beverage perspective is lots that are nearing their expiration. So obviously I want to make sure that I'm using all of my product that's going to expire with more of a FEFO lot rotation. NetSuite can help me track and manage my FEFO rotation as well. So here are some of the expirations at the end of this month, for instance, in Boston and San Francisco. I've got several items that are going to be expiring here shortly. I have reminder tools that actually inform me I need to make purchases or I need to generate work orders. So I have this items to order reminder or assemblies to order. And these feed in directly from NetSuite's planning capabilities. So I may plan different items differently. So as my supply chain manager, I'm being told that I need to order all of this product based on reorder points or based on planned orders, blanket POs, various planning options. And in NetSuite, as long as I have vendors tied to items with purchase prices. All I have to do is check a couple of boxes and submit it. And these generate all the purchase orders for me. And that came purely just from a reminder, clicking a link, reviewing the suggestions, and then pushing them out, generating those orders. And those orders can also auto-trigger emails to those vendors on my behalf so that I'm communicating what I want and when I want them with my vendors. Some of the other KPIs here specific to supply chain managers, I can see metrics such as my inventory value over time, inventory turns, my days of inventory on hand. So you can see some of these trends over various periods of time. And once again, other KPIs here around the value of orders this month versus last month to date. Any one of these numbers, once again, I can click into them and it's going to take me to underlying data here. So that took me into sales by customer for the current month. And here are all of the values. So Media Industries, $21,549 in sales this month. I click into that value. It's made up of 2 different sales orders. All right, obviously I've got a weekly orders trend on here, monthly inventory trends. And then I have other types of shortcuts. So as the supply chain manager, maybe I got my purchasing hat on, and now I want to move it over to my production hat and start looking at things like what's my ingredient where used, or maybe a costed recipe inquiry. So I want to look at the recipe for my case of apple pies for Boston. And here is the whole breakdown of all the components and sub-assemblies that I need to build my apple pie. And here's how many units are required per assembly. Right, and there's my total kind of costed bill of material option for each recipe. I also have things like material shortage reports, where I can drill into any sort of time frame. So looking at my production start date for the next 4 weeks, here's where I'm going to be short on materials. All right, and then finally, we'll do one last pivot to sales manager. So as Vivian alluded to earlier in this demonstration is Luxent, we do have a Salesforce.com practice for those who use other CRMs like Salesforce, but NetSuite does have its own built-in CRM functions and capabilities that even roll up into the full ERP, where you can do things like have your forecasts, your sales forecasts, actually generate your demand plans based on sales forecasting. So that is one of the big advantages of leveraging NetSuite CRM, because you can have CRM data pushed into things like demand and supply planning. So here is one of my calculated forecasts by sales rep. I've got some projected amounts here for Bert. And once again, full drill down capabilities. I can drill down into those numbers for Bert and see what makes up his forecast. So I've got some sales orders, I've got some invoices, he's got some credits here, but we also have some pre-sales activities such as opportunities. So here is some reminders for my sales manager on some opportunities to close, for instance. So opportunities really are those internal sales plans where I'm targeting particular customers, and it's tracking all of the statuses. And with the statuses, There may be percentages that I expect to close some of those sales, and those all roll up into my sales forecast that it's building every step of the way. I can also create and monitor campaigns. So here is my dashboard tile showing me all of my active campaigns. These campaigns can be newsletters, they can be paid keywords. I can also set up email campaigns and generate email templates to a list of prospects that I'm tracking in NetSuite. I can even generate email campaigns based on some of these reports. Like here are some customers without sales activity in the last week. So from here, I can generate a dynamic list of all customers who haven't purchased in the last 6 months, and then send them an email campaign with suggestions for them to purchase additional things, perhaps even at a discount. Once again, I've got all my sales by type reports: sales by rep, sales by item, sales by customer. I've got a dashboard icon here for my top 5 customers by pipeline. Here is my sales this month versus the same month last fiscal quarter. Here's my forecast this month versus last month to date. Some of those trend graphs. Here I can see if I track quotas, I can create quotas in NetSuite and then track any of my reports based on quotas. So here's my sales by item. And once again, too, I can create the report, and if I wanted to, I can easily export this to Excel and start doing additional analysis if I needed to. Otherwise, baked into NetSuite as well as a full analytics tool that I'm able to do any of my pivots or further analysis on. All right, sales by customer for this month. Once again, I can even make it change my query and say based on last year and start doing some of those data comparisons. All right. Try one more thing here. So obviously we've got a lot of people here for food and beverage. I see a couple questions that were sent over here. Ability to cost out jobs. In NetSuite, there is a full kind of job costing module that exists within a projects module. They call it suite projects in NetSuite. So you can create projects and actually perform full job costing.
Ben, it looks like there was another question here as well of, about a quotation tool within NetSuite.
Yes, so in NetSuite, part of the CRM capabilities, I did show there was the internal opportunities. There is quoting as well. So you might start with an internal opportunity, your internal sales plan, that might pivot to a quote, and then you can actually generate the quotes directly out of NetSuite. Absolutely. And those quotes can be emailed. They can be communicated in a various number of ways. There even is portals that you can log into. Your customers can even log into, or prospects, where they can view those quotes as well as, and their sales orders and any activity related to them. Right. I know one big area of food and beverage especially is in the realm of traceability. So I just wanted to kind of show lastly a quick sample of a lot trace. I'm going to grab my case of apple pie that we were looking at earlier. And I'm just going to execute a lot trace here. So here is this specific lot number of these apple pies. I can see here component receipts. Obviously, the apple pie here, if I was manufacturing it, it's not going to be a receipt, but a work order. So these specific lots of apple pie were built with this work order. This work order was made up of all of these components and lots. So here are some apple mixture here with this lot, was built with this sub-assemblies work order. And here's the components of that. On these POs received on these item receipts. Here is the dough mix, here's the apple fill, and I can drill all the way down from my finished good of case of apple pies all the way down to all sub-assemblies and components with those associated lots that were used and the associated transactions where I received or completed those. Then I can see what customers did I ship this finished good lot out to. So I sent this to Safeway and I sent this one to Kroger. Here's how much they received. Here are the sales orders and the fulfillments I shipped them out on and associated expirations as well. And I can drill directly into those fulfillments and sales orders to see any other further detail I need. And NetSuite also does have a quality module where I am able to do inspections and compare them against standards and generate my certificate of analysis to my customers to prove I sent you this lot number of apple pies, and here is the associated quality data. So I have quality tests that can be linked to here for that lot number, and it'll show me my inspection date, time, and the status. It was a pass, and here are the results of that quality inspection. So full lot traceability here in NetSuite. All right, I don't see any other further questions here. I'm going to pass it back over to Vivian, I believe, to wrap us up on a pricing discussion.
Great, thanks, Ben. One of the more important things about the NetSuite CRM is actually that it comes with all the NetSuite packages. So along with it having some really robust functionality, is it actually comes free at no charge, and so that's a big plus for you, anyone considering it. So what are what is the benefit that we bring, the solution provider? Because you're obviously able to go directly to NetSuite to work with them on purchasing NetSuite, or you can work with a solution provider. And I really think the benefit is significant. I think that when you're looking at software, you really need to work with somebody who understands your business, who is going to align the right software that you need. NetSuite is very robust and has lots of modules and lots of configuration. You don't want to be oversold software before you need it. You want to start out with what you need and kind of grow with the application. So you want a partner that's going to stay with you from the beginning and kind of grow with you, and someone that can help you not only from the NetSuite perspective, but also from the industry perspective, and helping you introduce some best practices and share with you what other customers are doing and help you on the reporting side and just help you on that growth. So I really think, I love this analogy of just kind of flying with someone with a, kind of going tandem there, but I really believe that's what you're really doing when you're going through this partnership from the beginning and all through working with an ERP solution provider. You're an expert on your business. We're the expert on NetSuite. When to start looking? I never think it's too soon to start looking. We have companies that are literally still in their garages and have their ideas and just starting to grow that are considering NetSuite today. And it's primarily because they don't want to continue to grow with hiring a lot of people when they start to expand, right? So they don't want to have resources or more employees doing manual effort. They'd like to just start with a good foundation so that they're ready for that growth and that control. If your basic accounting systems are not really giving you the reporting that you need, if you're starting to use a warehouse and you need that integration to the warehouse, the 3PL, if you have a legacy application that you've been on for a long, long time and you're considering upgrading that, and the cost of upgrading is significant. We've taken many companies off of legacy applications and moved them to NetSuite. If you're just preparing for growth, you got customers that in the near future, in the 12 to 18 months, that a big box might be coming, or you're looking to get onto Amazon. We're happy, that's the time to start to look at a NetSuite solution. Or expanding naturally and internationally. We've helped many companies in that regard. The pricing. So the pricing of NetSuite is it's cloud-based and it's a subscription model. The modules are separated out from the users. So you kind of try to figure out the configuration that you need. Your base maybe financials and CRM, or if you need inventory management and manufacturing, we kind of put that together for you based on your needs and your needs today. And then you can always add modules, you can always add users as you continue to grow. And they have starter packs. So they really have been aggressively trying to go and meet the customer who's just starting out, and someone that is on QuickBooks or even on Excel, and they really just want to take that leap into an ERP. So there's a starter pack, there's a mid-market package, and then there's the premium, which is the bigger than 30 users. So what I can tell you is that it takes us about 30 minutes to really have a call with you one-on-one, and we are happy to have that call with you and schedule that so that you can find out the pricing. We also have a very detailed pricing guide that can help you through and give you more details on the application and the modules and what type of functionality each of the modules includes, each of the packages, includes. And you could just request that when you fill out the survey. And then we, as a solution provider, we just don't help you with NetSuite. We help you in the setup, the configuration, but any third parties that you need. So if you need EDI, if you're working with a 3PL, if you're working with e-commerce, all of those solutions, we're working to help you find the right solution for you in all of those areas, and we're helping you to support getting those in place.